Welcome to Real Estate Success Partners. We're your hosts, Devin Dubuc,
David Wynn.
and we're here to talk about how to have great success in every market. And hey guys, today we're right back in the center of the U.S., and that market's going to be Arkansas. David, you always find the best people. Who'd you bring along today?
I brought Linzey Machen from Arkansas, one of the top realtors out there. Linzey, welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hey, Linzey.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. We appreciate you coming on today. And Arkansas, so what part of the state are you representing? Where are you at?
Yeah, so I'm coming in from the northeast corner, residing in a little town called Paragould, covering towns such as Jonesboro, Truman Bay, Brooklyn, and the surrounding areas. So anything north of Arkansas, I tell people, you know, if I can go an hour around Jonesboro, I pretty much feel like an expert in the market. Outside of that, we can be the blind leading the blind, but we'll still get it together.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah, in Arkansas, we talked about this in the green room. You know, just a beautiful state. You guys have a whole lot to offer up there. And, we'll probably get into some of that today. But today we're here to talk about you, Linzey. So how did you get started? Did you just wake up one day and say, I'm ready to be a real estate agent. Let me jump into this industry?
I did not. So I graduated from the local high school, went to the college right here in Jonesboro, Arkansas State University, walked out with a degree in marketing management, got married fresh out of college, and I moved down to his home state in Louisiana. So my first real big girl job was doing marketing in front end of a body shop. Unfortunately, at the end of 2011, my mother passed away. So I had a little sister that was still in her early 20s, and I told my husband, I'm going home. At this time, my sister needed me. We had already lost our dad when we were younger in grade school. So at this point, it left her to where she needed guidance. I mean, she was still a baby. So we moved back home with our beautiful daughter, and that's what brought us back here. So then I did a couple of different things with some home health type things, doing human resources and that kind of stuff. And long story short, my parents, when they had bought a house when I was, 9th, 10th, 11th grade, when people still ran newspaper ads, I remember we were looking to buy a house, and I was looking through the newspaper one day, and I told my mom, I said, call this guy. He looks good. I don't know why I thought he looked good. He looked professional. He had the suit on. He looked professional. So we called, and my mom and dad had used that man forever. So I reached out to him, and he was like, why don't you come work with me? Do real estate. And I was like, I don't know. I don't have a real estate degree. At that point, I didn't even know it wasn't even a degree that you go and get.
Right.
A license. So anyways, I kind of went to work with him, not part-time, doing 20 hours a week with him. And he encouraged me to go on and get my license, and kind of did it from there. So I stayed after I got licensed probably about a year with him. And then I knew at that point that, I wanted to branch on out and kind of be my own, and was ready to go. So that's how I kind of got started in real estate.
What year was that, Linzey?
2012.
2012, coming out of the 2008 crisis, huh?
Right.
Good time to start.
It was a good time, up until this year, and my year has been fantastic. So it's really hard for me to even say that personally. But, our area has been very blessed. That's what my husband says, is you've never seen a downtime. You think real estate's great. Well, of course I think it's great. But we've been very fortunate in our market that we have not truly seen a downtime since I did become licensed. So just grateful for that. We've got, factories, hospitals. We've got the college here that has a lot of kind of higher end programs that are bringing in students, med students. We have NYIT now. So just a lot of things that are still fortunately keeping us to where we can stay afloat.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier too. It's the state in general. You've got low cost of living. There's lots of places that, could still be built upon. So there's a lot of opportunity if you're looking for, new construction. If you're somebody that's out there looking for the sporting side, of Arkansas, you've got, lots of opportunities there as well. So there's just so much the state has to offer. And then, as we were just talking about with, COVID just happening not so long ago, a lot of people went home and realized they didn't have to work where they live any longer. And you probably got some folks that are migrating out there as well, from just the fact that it's a beautiful place to live and doesn't cost as much money as it does in some of the bigger metropolitan areas, right?
It is not. We are still, I call it a very affordable state. Our taxes are still very affordable. We take pride in having a homestead tax credit. So if this is your primary home here, we just increased it to where you get $500 a year off your property taxes on your home. So that has been huge for people. One of my favorite clients, it's funny you say COVID brought people home or to somewhere, you brought them to their home and then to realize that they could be anywhere. Last year, I closed a lady that she called me and she said, "I've been to your state once. I flew through on a work thing. They were from Florida, and she said, I'm tired of living in a Cracker Jack box that I really can't even afford." And she said, "I'm ready to move to Arkansas." And I said, "Well, why Arkansas?" And she said, "Because when I flew there, everybody was nice to me." She said, "I just figured it'd be a great place to move to." And sure enough, they bought a house sight unseen. And now they live here and they love it. They love every bit of it. So it's been exciting because I actually saw the other day that I think she's getting to take a job at home where she's not going to have to travel quite as much and she's going to get to be home with her family because she's somewhere affordable.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, and that goes back to what we were talking about earlier too, because, one of the things that we heard was, hey, I moved to Arkansas and I was driving down the street and somebody waved at me and it was like, wait a minute. I don't know that person. Why are they waving at me? Right. But that's kind of a common thing in Arkansas, right? Is to have that genuine neighborly hospitality.
Yeah, I hear that a lot from people that move here from, maybe northern or even southern United States. When they come to Arkansas, they're like, are people always this nice? Like it almost kind of, I think makes them feel uncomfortable because they're like, I don't know, I've not been treated this way. We still hold the door open. And, there's many times this year alone, I've messaged my neighbor, hey, like, do you have a Band-Aid or do you have a this or that? And it's, yeah, here's my garage code, go check it out. And my neighbor's not my best friend. It's just my neighbor. We still, the other day, I pulled over and had a client with me, pulled over when there was a funeral passing by. And she's like, what are you doing? And I was like, the funeral is going, like, that's what we do. And she's like,
right thing to do.
Okay. We sat on the side of the road for 5 minutes waiting on this big long funeral to pass by. So, sometimes we get bored of being here. I think that's everywhere you live. You're like, there's got to be something greener out there. But, it's nice sometimes to reflect back and see the things that you do have in your state that are maybe not as common that we take for granted every single day. So,
yeah. Yeah. I'm from Kansas originally, so I'm used to some of that hospitality as well. And, it was an eye opener when I moved out here because I'm in Dallas, Fort Worth today. And I was like, wow, okay, this is different. Right. And it took some getting used to, and what I mean by that is there wasn't the waves and there wasn't, the ability to just leave your door unlocked and know that nobody was going to break in and steal from you. You definitely had to be a little bit more mindful of things out here. And it took some time to adapt to that. So, I think it's a little refreshing to kind of switch up and head back the other direction. And I think a lot of folks are starting to do that, just because people can live where they want to live today. That's a big change. I mean, here we are on a podcast right now. And if you're watching us, you can see I'm in my house. Dave, I know you're in yours. Lindsey, you're in your office. And last time I looked, we're not even in the same cities. And some of us aren't in the same state, right? How are we able to do that? And that's through video. And it's a beautiful thing. But I think it's also helping people connect back to their grassroots and going, hey, I don't have to live where I work. And maybe I want to live somewhere that's a little more slower paced, that has great values to watch my kids grow up and get to have that comfort level of not having to worry about letting them run outside and ride their bicycle down the block. Right. I think it's important, so I love that about communities, that are outside of some of the major metropolitan areas. You still have some of those core values. It's a beautiful thing.
You do.
So you get into. Go ahead, Dave. I cut you off.
Well, I was going to give you an example. So, you said Jonesboro. One of my best friends from high school, he's lived in Dallas his entire life. Just moved to Jonesboro. So living here, he made quite a really good living. He sold his house for like $675,000. He bought a house there for $450,000, a new build, and they love it. Just the cost of living, everything. He basically gave himself and his wife a pay raise to move there, and it's just one of those things. And he can't say enough good things about it. So it's an amazing thing.
Good. That makes me feel good. I love living here. That's what I tell people. I don't really know where I'd go. I love to travel, but there's nothing coming back home to Arkansas. There's just nothing like it. So.
Well, we've established that it's a beautiful place to be and the cost of living is reasonable, right? People can live there and great hospitality, just super amazing people. But now let's talk a little bit about you, Lindsey. So you get into the industry in 2012 and, you kind of transitioned into it from a marketing background. You did some marketing, which I think a lot of people don't realize this, but, we as loan officers and you in the real estate industry, we identify ourselves as professional marketers. That's really what we do, right? We market. That's what we do. How did that transition you into real estate? What did that beginning look like? Did you just jump in and all of a sudden you were having tremendous success?
I did not. Don't we all wish we had an out the gate success story?
Yeah.
Mine has come in, like I said, I started to work with the other guy. So once I got licensed, it would be that I would start picking up some things on my own, or he would give me some business, which I'll forever be grateful for. It's funny now, and I won't call his name out, but now I outsell him every year. So I see him out and about, and he was like, "You are who you are because you started with me." And I'm like, "That's partly true, but I am who I am because I'm a marketer." Like I said, I did not. All reality, my first few years, I made what a teacher made. Nothing wrong with that salary.
Nope.
Just to kind of give you a general idea of what I was making at that time. So then 2016, I went through a divorce, and I was like, holy moly, like I've got to, I got to decide what I'm going to do. I'm either going to continue down this road of 100% commission income, and I'm going to have to get a game plan together and stick with it, or I need to look at something different. And reality is I looked at something different. I went to nursing school. I did the 13-month accelerated nursing school program here at Arkansas State. Got into anesthesia school, and that was my game plan. And I remember sitting on the couch one night with my husband now, and that's what he said. And he said, "Why are you doing this?" And I to make more money and to have a stable income. And he said, "Have you not seen every year since I've met you, you have gone up consistently, and some years doubling what you had made before?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Okay, so what are you telling me?" And he was like, "You will be miserable going back to an 8 to 5 and being a slave to the hospital." So I had to finally, I guess, kind of put my head down and do a lot of hard thinking. And was I going to continue down real estate and do what it took to make the living that I wanted, to provide for my kid the life that I wanted? Or was I going, to turn it all up and go on to anesthesia school? So about a day or two later, I signed my rejection letter and mailed it back in, and I never looked back. So.
And what year was that? 2016, 2017?
Say it again.
What year was that you decided to go all in?
So I finished nursing school in August of 2018. So it would have been 2019-ish, give or take. It's funny. I don't feel like enough for my years to start running together yet, but they do.
Yeah. So right before the big COVID, you decided to go back into real estate.
Yeah, right before COVID, I went back, switched to Century 21. I can't say enough great things about the company I work for now. I have a great owner here that has become like a great best friend, mother, mentor, someone that I can look to. And I think that had a lot to do with that. You finally, came out of a marriage that wasn't just the greatest. And I finally had some support. And this, was my boyfriend then, husband now. And my daughter was getting older. And then I kind of, got teamed up with a great company that was like, you can do this, you can be what you want to be. So here we are. Hard work, determination, and going down some hard turns has got me where I'm at.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I'm seeing here, it looks like 2023 might have been your best year. Is that correct?
2023 was, yes. That was my best year.
In 2024, you're on pace to do that or better, right?
I am, yes. I've exceeded my half-year mark. So we'll, hopefully with some rate cuts in the future,
they're coming.
I can finish out stronger.
They're coming, but let's talk about that. So for most, we hear 2020, 2021 was their big years in real estate, right? And, that's exactly the opposite for you. You had your bigger years in 2023 and 2024. And you said, hey, I made the commitment in 19, I'm going all in and I'm going to do this. What does that look like? Because you had a life and vision that this is who you want to be. This is where you want to be. What does it look like to go all in? What was that process?
Yeah, so those for what I refer back to as my whatever it takes years. I was taking leads or phone calls or marketing to areas that maybe weren't right here in my own backyard. I was driving to some of the smaller rural towns where instead of the average sales price being $230,000, I was looking at, I was closing homes at $100,000 that you could still live in. Believe it or not, in our area, you could still find a home to live in for $100,000. So that was my whatever it takes. That was a lot of time away from family, a lot of time, on a phone or sitting on the side of the road because I needed to do something super quick. So that was, like I said, going from maybe a fun job to a career. This is, and I went to my 30s. I mean, I think that's kind of the difference too. I went from my 20s into my 30s and now having a daughter that became more and more expensive as she got older. So,
funny how that works.
Funny. She's literally a text just came through, and I'm sure it's, can we go to Sephora when you get done up there? So yeah, she's downstairs laid up in the office while I came up here. But it just, like I said, I think it became more of a maturity thing. A lot of it was, I've always been a little more mature for my age, but I think a lot of it was finally, just, I wanted more in life. I wanted out of the first time home buyer home. I wanted on the golf course community, and it just, and like I said, my husband now, I had met him, and it was, I saw the things that he had by making good decisions and working hard. And so it was just, I think, a mixture of maturing, get through a lot of hard things, and then finally just deciding that this is what I have to do because I already turned in the denial form to go to anesthesia school. So
Well, it's dedication to a process, right? And you said, hey, look, I'm going to dedicate it, and then having the disciplines to follow through with it because you knew who you wanted to be. You knew exactly where you wanted to be. You knew it was achievable, right? But it's easy to, we say motivation comes and goes. Discipline it's consistency. It has to stay, right? And for you to have true success in this industry, you have to have those disciplines that say, hey, I know I really want to do this, but I can't do that today. I have to do this because guess what? I'm not going to let myself down. But more importantly, I'm not going to let my husband down. I'm not going to let my daughter down. Those things that they want, I'm going to work hard for them because I want them to have those things, right? It's easy to let ourselves down. It's hard to let down others, right? And those are your accountability partners in life. And you made the dedication that said, hey, whatever it takes, as long as it's legal, moral, and ethical, right? I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to do that. Hey guys, it's Devin
and David.
We're your real estate success partners. Hey, if you're enjoying these podcasts and want us to keep bringing back this content, we truly appreciate you following us. But if you could go below and subscribe or make some comments, we'd truly appreciate it. And we'll keep bringing back great content in 2024.
So today, Lindsey, where do you get on your leads? Do you buy leads, or how are you being so successful?
So in the form of, do I buy leads on a Zillow Realtor? No, I actually do not. Am I handed leads through my personal office? Actually, no. We have leads through our office. They're just not anything that I'm going. There's other agents up and coming that can use them. So mine at this point, if I was a super structured, coming in at 8 o'clock and making sales calls from 8 to 9 works for some people. It doesn't work for everybody. That's the fun part about this business is we all get to do things what works for us. Mine has been, like I said, do I buy leads? No. My lead generation that I quote unquote, I don't really have a name, is I celebrate people. That is my thing. All my past clients, they've got a birthday. They've got I saw they had a super hard day, cash out on $15, go get a drink on Lindsey, or next coffee's on Lindsey. I've had so many of my clients lose a pet. So then, one of my favorite things to do, they don't know it's coming. I go to their Facebook, I find 10 pictures of their dog. I have them a blanket made and I have them shipped to their house. So that is my marketing dollars.
That's awesome.
Just having someone that's, and we live in a world where a lot of people like to post what someone's done for them. So it is a marketing plan. I mean, I love my clients and I generally do things because I know it makes them happy. That's what my husband says. If I had a hobby, it would be helping other people out. Like if that was a legit hobby, it would be, that's what I enjoy doing. That's where I find my happiness and some joy in my life is a surprise for someone else or whatever. So maybe One of my clients actually closed her a couple of months ago. I had seen on Facebook, I didn't even really know her. We had a bunch of mutual friends, and I had saw she was having a baby. And she was like, this was totally unexpected, considering the fact my baby right now is like 8 months old. So I messaged her and I said, hey, not really wanting to creep you out, but could I drop you a surprise off on your door? I dropped her off, pack of diapers, some wipes, something like that. I can't even really remember. She actually listed her home that I dropped that off to with another agent a couple of, a year or so later, bought another house in another town. And then when she went to sell this next house, she called me and she said, I made a mistake. I didn't call you that last time. My friend said to you so-and-so. It was not what I thought it would be. We want to use you now. So, a $20 pack of diapers rotated back around to a listing and a new friend. Just so that's my marketing scheme. That is my scheme, whatever plan. That is where I spend my money is a lot of gift cards, a lot of crumble cookies, a lot of blankets, a lot of, oh, you're getting engaged. Please send me, your link. I don't feel obligated to send me your graduation party or your engagement party, but send me your link. I want to send you something. And it just makes people happy to get things.
Well, Dave, I think I figured out who she is, and don't take this as the wrong way, because it isn't. She's Mrs. Schmooze. So there is a book called Mr. Schmooze, and I don't know if you've read it or not, but that's exactly what it's about. Is this gentleman who just had such amazing hospitality that he was always thinking about others and in putting them in front of himself, and doing little things that were special. And let me tell you something, that's not something everybody can do. So, you may say, hey, look, yes, it's a marketing plan, but it's also, you're doing it because you care, because it's not just a marketing plan. You can't take the time to figure out those tiny details. They're going to put a smile on somebody's face because you don't love doing it. You're doing this because you love doing it. The fact that it is marketing is fantastic. The fact that it's working out for you and helping you build businesses is fantastic as well. But don't sell yourself short, Linzey. That's you doing what you absolutely love to do. And just as a result of that, you happen to make some good money too, right? So, you should stand proud behind that marketing plan, because that's an amazing thing that you're out there doing, because touching people's lives and making them feel special, sometimes when they need it the most, and there's something very selfless about that. And we need more people out there like you, Linzey. That's pretty awesome. I love that story. I absolutely love that story.
Yeah, well, it's worked for me. I actually had a girl take over keeping my books this year. So every now and then she'll send me, kind of what I've spent this year. And I look back and I'm like, I've already spent $30,000 on random gifts for people. But I'm like, if I was buying Zillow leads at the $2,000 to $3,000 to $4,000 a month, or any kind of leads, this works for me, and it brings me a lot of joy on top of that. And I'm not chasing down necessarily a bunch of, maybe leads that aren't good right now. And a lot of things I drop off aren't even like, oh, I know they're selling soon, let me go give them something. A lot of times it's just, oh, I saw this on Facebook, or I'm in TJ Maxx and so-and-so on Facebook talks about this. They'll love that. And I just drop it off. So
that's so sweet. It is. And, you're right. The marketing budget side of it, I mean, that's nothing outside of a standard marketing budget, what you're spending there. We have to spend money on our marketing. What better way to do it than to make somebody smile? I think that's pretty special. So, smart business behind there, that marketing background. I don't know that you needed it. I think it was already built into you, I think it's just part of who you are. So that's great stuff. Well, Dave, brother, you always know how to pick, some of the best people to bring on the show. These are the stories that we love to tell. And that's really what the podcast is about. It's about telling the story, right? Telling the story as to how you created the success that you created in your life. Because we always know it's never as simple as, well, I just woke up and decided I wanted to do real estate. It doesn't work like that. You may have made that decision, but that's not how you got to where you are today. There's a lot of hard work in there, and people don't know that. And I think that's what's really interesting about doing these podcasts, is because you may have one person that's listened to these stories and going, I might just need to keep going. I need to keep going. And I didn't realize that, that Linzey struggled at one point in time in her career, right? Maybe I just need to work a little bit harder, or change the strategy up a little bit, and then you may have some people that go, I can't do that. Maybe I need to go find a different career. And guess what? Maybe you do, right? Because at the end of the day, we got to do what we love. And I have a feeling, Linzey, I think you love what you do.
I love my job every single day. There are days that I maybe dislike some of the people that comes with my job. And I would tell them that I mean, I think y'all can, I'm kind of a blunt. I would tell them to their face, like, I love you, but Will, you are hard for me today. But I genuinely wake up every single day and I care about my job and I care about the people that I run across. I care about the other agents. I mean, that was, last year when I did my big end of the year post of, how many I had sold or what I had done, it was, I make sure I thank the agents that I get to work with every single day, because without listings from other agents or buyers from other agents or title companies or, maybe even the VA appraiser that calls Tidewater on me every time, like, we can't do it without all of them. So I genuinely do. I care about people. I think I get it from my mother. She was a caretaker, a caregiver. And that's just where we find our joy and our happiness. And as long as it keeps bringing me that and a good income that I can live off of comfortably, that my family needs, I'll do this, till I have it there in my wheelchair, like showing on property.
Well, let's talk about that. You started in real estate. And then you made a decision to go to nursing school and anesthesiology school. But your husband had the foresight to go, what are you doing, Linzey? And then you changed path. And then you went from, average, let's say average, to above average, because you are an above average realtor at this point now, Linzey. And I can't imagine you going backwards at this point. And you gave some great insight. You don't buy leads. You don't get leads. It's all organic, and it's all through your sphere. It's all through your sphere relationship, and so. I mean, these are great tips. This is what the show's about. It's about taking nuggets from every single person and going, hey, maybe I can use this. Maybe I can apply for this.
That's right.
Because there's people out there that are not. I mean, this just in, Linzey. The last 2 years has been the worst years in real estate, and you had just the 2 of your best years. So it's mindset. Really mindset.
It is mindset.
Yeah, that's what I tell my office. Again, we've got 100 and something agents. They all do 100 different things, and what works for one. I mean, I know several people in my office. If they showed up with a gift to me, I'd be like, what? It would be like, why are you bringing me this? We have some people that can do the cold call thing. I would be the one that's like, no, okay, bye. Like that would just, so that's the cool thing about real estate and success in general, not even just real estate. Yeah. There are so many ways to be successful at whatever you do.
Well, I love that you talked about the people that you work with outside of your office, right? And we know what you're talking about. You're talking about the other agents. You're talking about title companies. You're talking about inspectors and appraisers and loan originators, right? There's so many different people, home improvement, right? People that are coming out and helping get the properties ready to go, right? Staging, all that stuff. And it's all out there. But that's, by the way, is the name of our podcast, The Real Estate Success Partner. Because at the end of the day, we're bringing on people that are successful in real estate, but these are partners, that you're talking about, and they're the people that we're having success with in life, and we need to celebrate that. So I love that you said that. It reminds me when I was playing, football back in high school years ago, right? And I was an offensive lineman, and our big surprise, and our running back, he got a lot of recognition. He was always the front runner, right? Literally the front runner, because he's out there, scoring the touchdowns. And I remember they did a write-up in the paper, and he said, they said, we're going to make it all about you. And he said, no. You need to bring in my support staff. They all need to be here. They need to get their picture in the paper too. It's the only way that I'll do the article. And that's what you're talking about, because you could have been out there doing the celebratory touchdown dance, spiking the football and dancing around, but that's not what you did. You came out there and you said, hey, look, I won this year, but man, I couldn't have done it without these people behind me. These are my success partners, and that's special. And that's just who you are. It's a testament to who you are. So if you're listening to this podcast and you've been wondering about, why choose Linzey as your real estate agent, well, there's no question about it. She genuinely cares, and not just about you, the consumer, but about everybody that's involved in that transaction. That's what makes it so harmonious when you're working with somebody like Linzey, because she cares so much about everybody that's involved. They all want to work with her, and that's important. That's really important. I have a feeling that when a contract comes from you, that it's very well received, right?
It is. And I think that came with time too, with years and years of experience. But, I've multiple times sent offers over to people, and the reply I would get back is, thank goodness you sent this, because I didn't want to work with XYZ that I had just got the contract from. So, although so-and-so across town might be in my competition, we got to keep working relationships, because at some point in time, my goal is that we will run across each other, because that means we're doing business. Yeah. So that's kind of my thing. I had a friend get into it, and she was kind of confrontational with a bunch of the other agents. And I was like, that's not going to work. You have to have relationships with people, even outside of your office, that you compete with every single day. Because when they get an offer from Linzey Machen, that chances are it's going to close. I'm going to do everything I can to make it close. And I'm going to make it as easy as possible to get us all to the closing table. We're going to have conflicts sometimes along the way.
It happens.
We're going to have, for whatever reason, cannot close. But it's nice that even on days that I have to send terminations, that we can have a level of respect with each other, that at the end we shake hands and we go on. That's one thing I remember years ago. My brother was married to a lady that you couldn't see or have a different opinion than her without it being a fight or an argument. And that was one thing I've always kind of prided myself in, is we can have totally different opinions, and we can go have dinner afterwards. We can go, you can text me that you're on the side of the road and you need some toilet paper because whatever happened, but that's okay. We're all adults, and we're all going to have different opinions about, different values and ideas, not even values, ideas of how something should be done. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's, loyalty, respect, and genuine care for other people that I feel like has gotten where I'm at.
My original mentor when I got into sales, he always used to say something that always stuck with me. And it's, hey, can we agree to disagree without becoming disagreeable? Right? Because it's going to happen. It's going to happen. We're going to have disagreements, but we don't have to be disagreeable, because at the end of the day, those are relationships, and we've got to be able to come back to those relationships and work with those people. And, that's what you just said is, hey, we're going to have some problems with some of the people along the way, but, we've got to make sure that we're here together and able to work these things out. And, what I always tell my team, Linzey, is there's a borrower attached to every transaction. And, even if something goes wrong, we need to be selfless about it. It's not the pointing finger game as to who made the mistake. It's how do we fix the problem? How do we get them into their home? And how do we do it as quickly as possible? Because at the end of the day, that client deserves to be treated, with that type of hospitality. It's super important. So
right.
I love it. I love it. Well, what do you do when you're not wearing a cape and selling real estate? Is it all business for you, or do you get out and enjoy life a little bit?
No, that was my goal this year, was to, for last year, last couple of years have been whatever it takes. My goal this year was, how can I still achieve that level of success and income, but maybe work a little less? So I have hand some things off. I am very hands-on. I like to do a lot of things myself.
That's right.
What I'll never hand off is my paperwork. That is always going to be a Linzey job. I'll never hire a transaction coordinator. I enjoy that piece of real estate as much as I enjoy the meeting and showing and stuff. I enjoy the paperwork side of things. Yeah. But this year, I handed my taxes off to someone else that keeps my books for me. That has been a load off of me this year that was much needed, that has freed up some time at home when I'm not doing real estate. I've hired someone to do some of my social media for me, just to kind of keep things going and entertaining and that kind of stuff. But I think a lot of it was just, I'm going to focus on, my marketing plan's already kind of laid out for me. I know what I'm going to do. Some weeks I spend more time because it comes up, like I said, on social media, or I hear of something that someone might. Right. So, but beyond that, it's outside of work. My daughter plays volleyball. We do school ball, we do travel ball. So we travel a lot. We like to go to the lake. We like weekend getaways, and we like, we try to take a couple of vacations a year for 4 or 5 days. That's the beauty of real estate. Yeah. It picks up and it goes with me to the next country.
It's true.
And I've this year learned that it's okay to refer business out. It's okay to say, hey, as much as I would love to help you in that town an hour away, I won't be doing you any good. But I do have an agent that I think is fantastic, that has the time, that has the resources to invest in you. So I've tried to be very cautious of handing things off if the answer should really be, I don't have time for that. I hate to tell anybody I don't have time, but reality is we all only have so much time So I have, like I said, I've taken on another agent that is, we're not calling it a team. He is an individual agent, but that is there, that kind of knows how I like to do things and run things that, I can have some things off too.
You can have the confidence that the process is going to be handled very similar to the way you're doing it. And that way, you're not providing your consumer a disservice by transition them over, and I think the other thing you said that was extremely smart, if we're going to unpack some of this, was you started to outsource some of the things that maybe you're great at, but maybe they don't give you the best utilization of your time, right? We call it the who, not you, right? It's the who, not you. And what we found is that if we find smart who's, even if they do it 80% as good as we do, right? We want them to be 100%, but even if they do it 80% as good as we do, it's still good enough, because sometimes we are just at that level that's just so hard to get to. But then it allows for you to do more of the things that you need to be doing to work on your business, right? The sales activity, but it also gives you some of that time back with the family, so you can have the little excursions, or, be there at the volleyball games, because you got to be a mom first. That's so important to be there for your family. And it sounds like even with all your great success, you've figured that out. How do you outsource so that you can duplicate the process and continue to build great success? She's got it all, Dave. She's figured it all out. So if you're looking for all the answers, just call Lindsey. She's going to work on all the details for you.
I can say your house and tell you why your belly hurts.
There you go. Well, I have a question for you. We like to ask this question to our top tier realtors. Thus far, during your professional career as a realtor, what's the one achievement or moment that you're most proud of? What's that one transaction? Because I know there's many that you said, hey, this is the reason why I'm in real estate, and this is why I do what I do.
Yeah.
Why real estate took over nursing and anesthesiology and everything else.
Yeah. So I probably can't pinpoint one transaction in general, because a lot of my transactions are so meaningful to me. I've helped someone, they were fixing to lose their home, or I helped someone, finally get out of that mountain of debt that they just kept climbing into, or someone find their lake house because they finally got to that success level in life that they can have a second home. So many of my transactions mean a lot to me. So mine's probably more of a, I tie back to my daughter, to my family. My daughter is, she's 12. So she's wanted to be a lot of things as she's grown up, from the hairstylist to the girl that does mom's Botox. And, she's had lots of things. But as she's gotten older, I've heard her say a lot of times when, friends, teachers ask, what do you want to be when you grow up? And she'll say, I want to be like my mom. And I'm like, whoa. Like, what do you mean you want to be like your mom? And she's like, I want to be a realtor. I want to be somebody that helps other people. I want to be somebody that works hard. So that is probably my most proud moment in the real estate world, is when my own human being that gets to see how much, time I put into it, but has also seen how much time I can be away, still see that, wow, that's, that would be a career that I would want to consider. So
it's pretty special.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, she sees the lives that you touch, she sees the way that you make people feel, and, the way you make her feel, and that's just a super special, moment to be able to share with your daughter and have her, want to walk in your footsteps. It's amazing. Just, again, another testament, to who you are and what you're doing out there. And even your young girl sees that every single day,
Yeah.
Super mom.
I try.
Well, I know we would love to keep you here all day, but you've got a ton of stuff to do. Did we not tackle anything? Is there anything we should have covered today that we should have talked about?
I don't think so. I think, this was fun to hop on, and, if I could say anything to anybody watching this, that's, a real estate partner somewhere out there to success, is just remember that your success may not look like mine. And it may not look like Dave's. It may not look like your broker's. It may not look like your husband's. And the other thing is, I try to remember, success isn't always defined by money. I think a lot of times people hear success and we see dollar signs, but that was another big part when I was going to anesthesia school or not, was, he had said, you're happy, Lindsey, you're a happy person. And he said, I'll tell you who's not happy. And that's a lot of the nurses I work with, or a lot of the doctors I work with every single day. They're not happy people. And he said, I hate to see you lose this genuine happiness that you have, that others can see. So that would just kind of be my piece of, take it or leave it. But just mainly that it's easy in today's world to look at others and say, I want to be like them, or I want to have what they have. And just remember that your success truly may not be others, but that doesn't mean you're not successful.
I love that. I love
well
that.
said.
Yeah. Super well spoken. Lindsey, you're an inspiration, and I think a lot of people are going to hear this and it's going to resonate with them, because you're right. Success isn't measured by dollars. For some it is, right? Some people, that is what success is to them, and that's okay, right? But for others, it's just about having a meaningful life and being able to be there and have those special moments that they get to share with people, and doing something they love to do. And if you love to sell real estate, hey, get over in this industry, right? If you love to make millions, hey, the opportunity is certainly here. But if you don't want to spend a great time with your family and have special moments, and this isn't the industry for you, choose that industry, right? I think it's so important to love what you do, because it goes back to what I say all the time. We live here for a very short period of time, and we just got to enjoy the ride. And if we're not enjoying it, we're doing something wrong. And for some reason, Lindsey, I have a strong suspicion that you're loving the ride and you're doing it right.
I am. Like I said, I wake up every day and I have complaints, but I don't have complaints. And, not about my job, not about my family, not about, I let go of what I can control. I control what I can't control. And that's one thing I preached to my daughter the other day. She actually got told on the volleyball court, facial expressions. And that's one thing I told her on the way home. And I said, you let me see your coach tell you that one more time. Yeah. And he won't have to tell you, because you'll be getting in the car going on the way home and you won't play volleyball. Like, that is one thing. You can't control a bad hit. It's going to happen. You can't control a missed serve. But what you can always control is your attitude and your outlook in your face. So.
Amen. Amen. Well, Lindsey, when the folks out there want to find you, what's the best way to reach Lindsey?
Yeah, so I'll say my cell phone number. My name is spelled really weird. Most people don't get it right, even when I spell it for them. But my cell phone is 870-882-4486. Again, I'm in Northeast Arkansas. I've got lots of referral partners here in Arkansas in general. So if I can't help you, I can at least guide you in the right direction and find you someone that I feel would work just as hard for you. I'm on Facebook. It's Linzey, Linz as in zebra, EY, sells AR.
There it is. And by the way, guys, if you're watching that, it just came right across the bottom of the screen. So even if you spell the name wrong, we got you. It's going to be right there on the video. And then if you're listening in, run over to the description, and we're going to have all Lindsey's contact information there as well. That way you can locate her, because I know, after this podcast and hearing, all the amazing things that she's doing out there, you're going to want to reach out to her. If you're looking at purchasing real estate in Arkansas, she's definitely your go-to, and you're going to have a great experience. And you might expect some cool gifts at some point in time, because it sounds like she's going to be watching your social feed, and you may just get exactly what you need at that time that you need it the most. So thank you, Lindsey. Man, what a great story to tell. Dave, brother, like I said earlier, you just find the coolest people. And Lindsey, thank you for spending the afternoon with us. It's been great hearing your story.
Yes, thank y'all so much for inviting me on and hosting me, and it's been fun. Y'all told me I would say that,
hey.
So
we did it. We're gonna have another one. We always like to follow up, maybe a year down the road, and see if all your plans came true or not.
Yep. Awesome. Well, we'll plan it for the ADM.
Let's go, Dave. Anything you want to say to Lindsey before we wrap up today?
No, all I can say is. You're real, Lindsey. You know what? You attract the people that you're supposed to attract. I said this before in someone else, and you repel the people that you don't want to work with. Working with you, you get a genuine person. It comes across very much so. So I can see why you're so successful. So if you're looking for real estate in the Northeast Arkansas area, call Lindsey. She's there to help.
Yeah.
It is.
Well, again, thank y'all so much.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, guys, we're your real estate success partners. If you want to check us out, come on over to realestatesuccesspartner.com. Again, that's realestatesuccesspartner.com. But we'd prefer you come over to YouTube and meet Lindsey face to face. That's going to be at the Dubuc team on YouTube, or you can find us at IG, Facebook, TikTok. We're on all of them at the Dubuc team. And if you do come over there, hey, make sure you make some comments. We'd love to hear from our audience. Also, make make sure that you subscribe, and we love those 5-star reviews. So until the next time, we'll see you then.